being out of pocket means that you're not behaving well. Does that mean that if you're being good, you're in a pocket?
Then whose pocket are we in?
Now this is concerning. Money is the root of all evil.
Really?
And the root of all happiness as well. If I could make videos and then you give me in return for that fish, food, water, shelter, a nice house, I would do it. If it could be a barter system in our world, but it isn't, unfortunately. Money makes you more of what you already are. So if you're a jerk, you become a bigger jerk.
Yeah.
If you're happy, you become more happy. There was the gold rush, then there was the crypto rush, then there was the TikTok rush. We're in the YouTube rush right now. Yes, be careful with what you put out there. Like, you don't want to be spreading negativity. You don't want to be spreading harmful messages.
The Infinite Perspective Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Infinite Perspective Podcast. Today, we have the one and only Fahad Kaleem. If you have not heard of this guy, you're probably living under a rock. Over 1 billion views. This guy is as good as it gets when it comes to social media. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Before you started the agency, you were, working with...
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of part-time work here. I've worked with a lot of businesses for them through another company as well. So yeah, I mean, I've had my fair share of experience in the UAE market.
Yeah, that's it. And we also have Osama co-hosting this episode.
Back on the podcast again.
And how was life like before you became an entrepreneur and after you became an entrepreneur and everything, started to change and you achieved success? I mean, we all have a long way to go, but still, like, it's not very common that you see young people pursuing business.
Yeah.
There's a lot of risk associated with it. Plus there's that worry from parents and family that, what if you're not going to succeed?
Yeah.
So how was life like before and after in terms of like how people were with you and overall general stuff,
So I think I never really thought about entrepreneurship or doing a business my entire life. I was just having fun, trying to make money. I had friends around me with the same mindset as well in GITEX, in these ticket ushering jobs or whatever part-time work we've done in the past. And at the same time, the circumstances that I was in with my family at that time pushed me to go and pursue more.
Right.
Like, it's like a lion or a tiger tasting meat for the first time, and in Urdu we say this veshi, where they become ferocious for that.
Yeah.
And when I figured out that I could go do stuff, and then that stuff that I did allows me to do stuff in my own freedom space, I wanted more of that. So the first thing was I bought a BlackBerry for myself. Then I got a MacBook for myself. Then I got an iPhone for myself. And I realized very quickly that if I just keep working more, I can just do more shit by myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess at that time I just looked at it as like a freelance gig, because I don't think I've ever been on a salary in my entire life. I've always been on commission or hourly rate for projects, know. And I guess I was mentally just preparing to start a company for like the last 9 years of my life, because I always was in a situation where if you work more, you make more.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, the idea of money and the idea of, I want to be a billionaire or I want to achieve this or that, I just don't like the concept of money. At principle, I feel like money is the root of all evil.
Really?
And the root of all happiness as well.
I agree with that.
If I could, like today, I love making videos. If I could make videos and then you give me in return for that fish, food, water, shelter, a nice house, I would do it. If it could be a barter system in our world, but it isn't, unfortunately.
That is very interesting. And I think I completely agree with that. Why? We're seeing now this hustle culture from certain influencers that sell courses where they've pushed materialism so much within the Gen Z population that it's starting to get toxic, unfortunately.
On the courses bit, I think every single person who sells a course is a scam. I strongly believe that if Einstein didn't sell his courses, or Sherlock Holmes, or the greatest of the minds that have lived amongst us doesn't sell courses, we don't have the right to be doing that right now. Especially with data that you have for the last 4 years, or 5 years, or 10 years. You're not a professor who's devoted his entire life to research on this topic. This is a kind of like paradox in my own head today because I don't see another source of income beyond the work that I do in the field that I am unless I sell a course, unless I package all this information.
And you can because you're successful.
You show the results. This is what I've done with my clients. This is how you can do it. Come join my course. But I feel like because there was a time in my life I couldn't afford education. I couldn't afford to go to university. And the only thing depriving me of that was money. So there's probably thousands of creators out there today who want this information, but they don't have the means to get there. And I don't own this knowledge. You don't own the ability to create fire. It was there. It just people rubbed shit together and it happened, right? You just discovered it. So why are you charging, like, and I've done this in my podcast, the parody one as well. I was like, why do we pay for land when it already exists for free? Why are we paying for knowledge when it already exists for free?
Exactly.
This shit is there on earth. You can go look for it yourself.
And if these people are as successful as they claim and as rich as they claim to be, why do you need another source of income and charge people that you know are below you exorbitant amounts of money? Right?
Don't get me wrong. It is a very nice and smart way of making money. And I'm sure like there's like this masterclass app where some really professional people are teaching their skills, their knowledge. And probably some of these courses out there might be helpful. Like some of this stuff might actually be useful. But I just feel like in my head, the whole idea of I'm going to make like 50 videos and then you can pay and watch them doesn't sit right with me.
Have you ever seen someone have a completely different personality on their social media page? People, I'm specifically talking about someone who sells a course on their page, but that being a complete lie in their real person.
I haven't
life.
been close to such personalities, but like I know what you're talking about, and yes, this is exactly how it is. They're a completely different person. Social media demands for you to become a character, and you either become A, B, C, D, E, F character, or you don't, right? And once you become a character, you become relatable, and that's the only way you can grow. So some people chose the materialistic character. Some people chose the bodybuilding character, Some are into cars, some are into comedy. I'm a character on my social media. I'm not the same retarded, lame humor person in real life, right? But that's the character I liked. Like, that's my avatar.
But what I like is you're very open about it being a character that you're playing.
Yeah.
People know that, right? So you're not faking it.
Bro, there are some
people don't understand that.
Some people think that I am genuinely, I need help. And that's okay.
But it's harmless though. You're not having someone feel bad about their life and showing that like you are the most successful person, you have all the answers. You're not claiming any of that.
It's wrong for anyone to claim that, bro. We're not perfect.
I mean, there's people who say, unless you subscribe to my ideology, the way that I teach, the way that I do things, then you're a piece of shit. But
you're going to fail, right?
You don't do that. And I think selling courses, if you're truly an expert and if you're like giving knowledge and not bullshitting, because there's a lot of people who sell courses, they don't talk about the technical aspect of things. They just talk about philosophy and my routine, blah, blah, blah. If you're doing that, that's bullshit. But if you're actually giving proper information, especially if it's like designing or editing, blah, 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 that's fine.
Like I would buy a course from, I don't know, Tawfiq Raidi, he's a client of mine. If he starts a course on how to set up a retail store, I'll go buy it. Because this guy has spent 25 years plus in building a 120 plus store business model right in front of him with offices, but he's not going to sell a course.
Out of the 200 clients that you worked with, it's rare for entrepreneurs to be this age, and they're typically people older than us. What is the one most important thing that you've consistently seen in all of them that you've learned?
In all of them, in the sense like the business owners of these companies, like what is a similar person
that makes them successful?
All of these people have just figured out their people skill. No one is special. No one has this genius, edge to them. Very rarely have I found maybe someone that I was working with like, wow, okay, this guy has a wow factor to him. But 99% of these people are just business people who were either born into it or were around the right people and build the right teams around them. And the only way you can do that is, I think, by trying and failing. And so most of these companies and some of these companies are so huge that I can't even reach to that level of management when I'm working with them. But like Tawfiq being the closest example because he's an enormous business, and I learned a lot from him directly, is that if you can somehow figure out to give every time you make something, and then you give more, and then you make more, and then you give 10x of that, you'll somehow, scale. Like you have to understand that no one's going to do things for you in your best interest ever. And so if you can figure people out, no matter what type of people they are, I think you can scale really fast.
And I think this goes the same for social media, right? So people who scale a lot quickly, they're providing some sort of value, right? Even if the audience doesn't feel that way for you, you're making people laugh. It's comedic value, right? So you just provide people value because you're demanding their attention, right? You have to give something back to them.
For some people, I'm just like an outlet for them to vent in my comment section. Like
I've seen that.
I pose an argument that is so stupid that they just have to comment and take their frustration.
That is insane. I think there's an intellectual side to that type of comedy, because people who think they're intelligent, who think that they are decoding the underlying stupidity in your video, which is not, it's obviously, it's supposed to, even a kid can kind of understand that this is a joke. And that it's sort of like a paradox in itself.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of showing that in people. And that's why I love that format.
Bro, my page is a testament that people are dumb. Genuinely. Like if one of my videos has 54 million views, 54 million people are that dumb.
The other side of this argument, I had a person on my podcast a few episodes ago, and 2 PhDs and all that. She said that kids like us need to be careful about what we're posting because the digital footprint is always going to stay there. But that's her opinion. What do you think about people who say, be careful about what you post? It's always going to be there. Never go away.
I ask, how many views do you have? And how much reach do you have on your own name? So that gives me an understanding of their credibility and their background of what they're saying and how much it holds in what they're saying, right? I think that whether it was negative reach or positive reach or neutral, whether you marketed yourself as someone who sells courses or someone who's, into bodybuilding, that reach in one way or the other is unlocking doors for you, and you are doing subtle marketing of your face that somewhere down the road in 20 years or 30 years, it will help. When I sit in meetings in the last 5 years of just marketing myself, and I talk to clients who have never opened Instagram or TikTok, but because the people around them are there or their kid is there, and they come back to me and they go like, wait, aren't you the guy who posts these videos on TikTok? Now, I could be getting negative comments on that video. I could be getting positive comments. But that connection of someone recognizing me just makes it so much easier to get the message across. So yes, be careful with what you put out there. Like, you don't want to be spreading negativity. You don't want to be spreading harmful messages whatsoever.
Which your content isn't.
Like, misinformation is not good in any way. But if, you're scared of what people are going to think about you, then social media is not the place for you. In fact, we're going into a world now where if you've seen Black Mirror in China, they've already introduced it. They recognize your face and then gives you a social ranking based on that. And that's kind of like your credit score in the society.
That is insane. Yeah,
that's the world we're going into. So you might as well have numbers in your favor before we enter such a messed up time.
Be careful of your digital footprint or you're cancelled. In the West, they actually don't give people jobs if they see like a tweet from like 8-9 years ago and it's something offensive, even if the person was a minor or something.
Yeah, be political.
Won't get the job, right?
I'm very careful in that sense. Like, I will never show myself as an extremist on social media, and I try to keep it as bland and as neutral as possible. I mean, I have my stance, but this social media platform, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, are governments. Just like you live in the UAE, you live in these apps and you have to follow their rules. If you don't, you're going to get kicked out. It's as simple as that.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have heard about the Nike Air Jordan story, if you've seen Air, the movie. So when they did the deal with Michael Jordan, the color on the shoes was not fitting the standards of NBA, basically. And they used that to market it. They were like, we're not following the rules because we're stylish, because we look good, and we'll pay the fine. And that just skyrocketed their overall brand awareness, and it was controversy, but it was good controversy. You know, you're being a maverick. You're not following the rules, but it wasn't harming anyone.
Yeah, controversy is great, but it can sometimes work in your favor like that, or sometimes against you. But what I've seen as an issue with some of the brands that I worked is that it kind of comes down on a very few select people to make that decision, who are not the masses to decide. So Nike did it, but like some companies here wouldn't even dream of doing something like that, because my manager will not be happy, or my CEO will see this and they're like, what the hell are you guys doing?
They're very afraid to break the rules and stuff.
So I've worked with certain companies in terms of content creation where I tell them that whether you like it or not, your content has to follow a certain format. You have a hook, you have the main body of the whatever you're going to talk about in your video, and then you have a call to action.
Yeah.
That's how you sell. There are certain companies that are like, no, this is our brand guideline. This is what we have to follow. We need professional cameras, blah, blah, blah. And it's not always up to you to choose.
I've lost a lot of clients because of that, by the way.
That's a big issue. People don't understand that. And then you show them work that you've done with an iPhone that have gotten people millions of views, and it works. I mean, we can try to get a $10,000 budget and get red cameras, but is that going to give you the same ROI as this?
So there's a lot of, how do I put this? A lot of the people in the marketing sector, in my experience in the UAE that I've dealt with, are uneducated on this matter. And it's not their fault. It's new technology, it's new algorithms, and it's a new style of content creation that you were not taught about when you did your degree. And so you are now forced to adapt.
Exactly.
Right? And so you can spend hours trying to convince someone in their 40s that this is the right way of doing it. But if they don't agree, they will not agree. They'll find a way to blame you for the money they spent and they didn't get the ROI. I was on a call today with a client with this exact same situation. We were doing the content in our style, getting 600K, 700K reach. We switched to what they wanted, their Eid campaign, Ramadan campaign, 1,000 views, 2,000 views. And then he's telling me, we're paying you so much money and this is what I'm like, you're paying me money. You're preventing me from, you've hired a painter to paint. And then you're telling him, don't paint like this, paint like this, and you're not happy with the results. Obviously, that's going to happen. And that is just like the paradox of this business that I have not solved till date. It's a people problem. Maybe I haven't figured out, or maybe we haven't figured out the right way of educating our clients, or maybe the market isn't ready yet. But that's also a good thing, because that shows that once the market is at that position where everyone agrees to what you say, the opportunities will just be more bigger. So it's the right time to be here.
And definitely, I do feel like these people are early adopters. And eventually, once this becomes, like we had books, and then we had TV, then we had computers to access media. But now we've got this insanely fast way to share information.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who are not ready to still kind of completely, I know that sounds crazy. We're living in 2024, but there's still people who don't understand we have this.
Bro, there are still people that would rather use this. There are still people out there.
Phone, yeah?
Do you use this for...
I got this recently because I'm sick and tired of the amount of WhatsApp messages I have to deal with. And sometimes to make...
Actually,
that makes sense.
Really,
and this never runs out of charge. I never have to worry about charging this. So
that is actually a really good idea. I was talking with one of my other guests in a previous episode, and I was saying I want to do a dopamine detox where I have no electronics whatsoever, and I go to some beautiful village in northern Pakistan for a month with no electronics and completely reset my brain.
I don't think I would last.
Dream.
Personally, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Same here.
Yeah, even though it's a very good thing. I think it would free your mind of a lot of unnecessary stress that you have. But the position I'm in and the amount of research that I've involved myself into, I don't think I'll be able to detox myself for the next 5 years.
Also, the level of stimulation our brains are used to, you won't get it in a village, right? You'll be happy for a day or two maybe, but not...
I wake up to scrolling, or I wake up to calls from clients. It's not the best. It's not the best lifestyle. Yeah. I don't recommend anyone having it, but my lifestyle that I'm in right now currently demands it. Mm-hmm. So...
Why do you think, like, let's say you had 1 month, you have no response. Someone is managing everything for you. Hypothetically, you have no burden on your shoulders.
I'll find something else to do. If you put me in a forest, I'll probably find a way to communicate with the birds and get them to film content for me or something. I think I've never been able to sit still in my entire life. Since I was born, my mom tells me when I was born, I fractured my arm because I fell out of the doctor's hand because I kept moving so much. And then fast forward into like school, I was always mischievous. And like, I think that's just something that's naturally there inside of me and I can't control it. It's this
I think it's
nature.
creative archetype.
It's relatable because for me, if I don't do anything, if I'm not working on a venture, I get depressed, like majorly depressed.
Yeah.
Because your brain doesn't have anything. Do you think this is more of like a Gen Z thing? Or?
I think it's more of like, these are a certain type of people, and that's their energy level. Like there's just so much energy that you naturally have. Some people don't have that level of energy. Like they wake up.
Some people hate that you have it.
Yeah.
And they want you gone. Yeah.
Some people just sleep for like 16 hours and that's beyond me. Yeah. I could never.
All right. So this is going to be going in a different sort of direction, but I'm really curious to ask, aside from the videos, do you genuinely believe in any conspiracy theories that you're convinced are true?
Conspiracy theories that I think are true. I mean, I've seen all these I've seen the moon landing, the fake moon landing conspiracy theory. I've seen the Area 51, but I've never really put my mind to it as much. But yeah, I do like I don't know. I don't think so. No, I think all conspiracy theories are just bullshit, because I've spent a lot of time researching some of these conspiracy theories, and what it all kind of comes down to is a very good debate that someone has set up, right? And for me, that's marketing. And I always see through marketing. And so these conspiracy theories are just marketing of these topics done really well. So if you want to market your brand, create a conspiracy theory around it, right?
It's like borderline propaganda in a way.
Yeah, like pyramids were built by the aliens. Area 51 has aliens in it. God knows what. Like, okay, even if there were aliens and they discovered it, they probably are never going to reveal that information. Or unless everything is for self-interest.
Yeah.
Okay, so if a conspiracy theory is true out there, someone is using it to their interest, self-interest, and some government or someone is capitalizing off of it.
Yeah.
I think it's just a hidden form of entertainment where people don't feel
it's
like
a distraction.
Yeah, it's just a distraction.
I mean, yeah, it's in major. We've got channels that cover things that are pseudoscience, but people believe that it is real science.
Bigfoot. Don't forget that
I
one.
think because I'm personally majorly into theoretical physics, and there's things like there's absurd stuff. I don't believe in the universe, energy, and like the stars. This is all nonsense. Because with science,
also shirk.
Yeah.
Also
yeah,
shirk.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in any of that, and because with science, you either have proof of something or you don't, and you don't need proof for everything. Like faith, you don't need proof for it.
Yes.
So life is a test. In a test, you don't need evidence. The teacher is not going to come and give you the answer.
100%.
So there's no point in finding evidence. Science can't solve religion. We can't disprove God. We can't prove God, and it's a test. That's the biggest proof for me. But politically, I think conspiracy theories, you can call it more like speculation, but they're more applicable to political scenarios.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you need to control millions of people or hundreds of millions of people under a group of people. You need to have something to distract them with. The Romans had the Colosseum. Now we have football, cricket, sports, a lot of other things going around the world. And I think everything that you see in media today is just a distraction from what's actually happening. That's why I don't pay attention to sports, news, or whatever information that is coming through media channels. I even don't scroll for watching what content is being pushed out on TikTok or Instagram. I'm scrolling to see always what type of behavior people are exhibiting, because if this video went viral, then millions of people are thinking like this. And that's a signal. I can use that information to create something in my favor. Yeah. But most people are just mindlessly scrolling for dopamine hits.
So if you were the president of the world and it was up to you to decide a economic system, a way of life for everyone, what would be a near perfect solution?
I don't know why they haven't done this, but like everyone should be allotted through some sort of machinery system a fixed amount of resources to live. this much land, this much space to eat, this much food to eat, this much water, this much area to play around. And if you do that, I think you solve everything.
I think it has a name. I think it's the universal basic income. I think Elon Musk
But
has
isn't
the
that
same
communism?
opinion.
Is it? Because I don't know
It's
what that
okay.
is.
It
It's
kind of,
okay.
yeah, kind of.
No, but like,
But that's
let's
okay,
say I'm
though.
the president,
Yeah.
right? Then me as a president also get the same thing that everyone else is getting. Like if everyone's getting $100,000 per year, I also get $100,000 per year, and the remainder of the money left is used for R&D or bettering lives.
Okay. So what if someone works harder, someone puts in more hours? Do you think they should be paid more?
Yeah.
Define working harder.
So let's say
Providing-
doctors,
Yeah.
Okay.
they save lives. Would you say that they need to be paid in proportion? We create a society where there's incentive to work harder.
But how would you measure that to be working harder? Because a doctor saving life could be the same as someone who's in a construction site lifting boulders with cranes and building houses, which you need,
Yeah, so
which
that's
you need to,
subjective, right?
which you need to save lives because you need the hospital.
Yeah.
So I think that I love capitalism. We live on capitalism,
Same.
right? Without capitalism, you can't grow yourself into the monetary world. But I think because it's in our nature to be selfish, and it's in our nature, even what I'm saying right now, in some messed up way, is trying to get some benefit back into me. And we do this not purposely. We do this subconsciously and naturally, because survival is in our instinct. Like, we need to survive. And to survive, you need to be able to eat. You need to be able to hunt.
You know, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, because I was thinking, what is true love? Even parents love their child. It is selfish in some way because they want to have the generation go forward. It's in some way selfish. People in romantic love, it's also selfish in some way because, again, you've got that same reason.
You're getting some sort of emotional response from
I was thinking, what is true love? It needs to be truly unconditional. And this is my faith. People are free to disagree with me, but I think it's God and a human being, because God has nothing to gain from a person.
I agree.
That is,
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think what you said there is great. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
and it is impossible for any person, anything, not God is divine, we're not divine. For us, true love is not really possible. We can only play with words.
Every human interaction has a underlying exchange of value, right? That people don't directly talk about, but it's still there, right? You don't have that with God, I believe.
I agree 100%.
Coming back a little bit towards the work side of things, what would you say has been your most memorable deal that made you stop in your tracks that moment and made you think, damn, I'm doing a good job?
So this was actually like in the third month of this K9 unit. I mean, it wasn't even called K9 back then. We had this client, I'm going to take names, in Sharjah. They're called City Taxi Sharjah. So it's like the taxi company that operates all the taxis over there. And so in that project, we just had to make videos of taxi drivers pushing recruitment. So like, we want more drivers, this is our job, etc. Went super viral. We got 1,600 something applicants in the first month, and they stopped working, which was fine. Okay, that was the objective. We did it, done. But what I heard later on was that because of that recruitment campaign that we were involved in and the videos that we made, the taxi drivers used to get commission based. So like, how many trips you make, you get paid according to that. And that was not feasible for some of the taxi drivers. But because of the amount of inquiries that came in to work in the company and demand a salary, that changed the structure, the way that company worked. And they ended up getting salaries. And so for me, that moment was like, shit, I did something that made a change in this world, and I'm proud of myself.
And you empowered the working class.
Whether I'm empowered or not, whatever action I did resulted in a benefit for those people. And for me, more than anyone, those people getting that was the biggest achievement in my life.
I was just going to say, this is an example for the young entrepreneurs here, that I asked you the most memorable moment. You didn't mention money, because typically that's what you expect. I closed the deal XYZ amount. But you making a change, that really kind of goes to show how a person is. And I hope people can look up to that and understand that money is not the only measure of success.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's how we measure success today. But money will get you only so far. I mean, no, money will get you like jets and buildings and like you can own land and acres of shit, but money makes it. Someone said this the other day, and I'll never forget it. I saw it in a video. Money makes you more of what you already are. So if you're a jerk, you become a bigger jerk. If you're happy, you become more happy. If you like giving, you give more. But if you like being selfish, you become more selfish. If you like lying, you lie more, right? So I think money is great. It's a great amplifier, but be careful in who you become with this money.
It just amplifies your essence.
Yeah.
Because I don't think money is inherently evil. It's just a resource.
People are evil.
Just a medium of exchange, right? Exactly. I think human nature, as there's more evil than good, might be a little nihilistic.
But then coming back to the point, right? Like Earth is like we're flawed. People are not perfect, and so this is temporary.
We're not in heaven for a reason.
Yeah, this is temporary, and so like because of that, like a lot of the shit that happens in life, in business, in personal life, I just go like, it's okay. This is a test. Fuck it. Astaghfirullah. Like honestly, like
We'll
whatever.
Leave that.
Yeah, like honestly, like it's just part of life. It's temporary. Like you're fucking me over right now, but this is a simulation, and like we're gonna get judged.
100%. 100%.
Right? So do what you want. We're all being tested over here.
It's very reassuring to think that there's something out there, and eventually everyone will get justice. You know, in atheism, one of the arguments is, if God is good, if God is omnipotent and the ultimate form of goodness, why is there evil in this world? Well, but God is the ultimate form of justice. If someone is born with a disability and dies in pain, they're going to get much more
compensation
in the other life.
Yeah.
And that goes with everything else too, with injustice, with suffering, with pain. Everyone's going to get their share.
In Islam, they promote you to go seek knowledge, right? And so some people, they go a bit too far to the other side, and some people, they bridge faith and knowledge together.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only difference between atheists and Muslims.
Absolutely.
So when you're creating content, right, even if you do not want to compete with other creators, you're inevitably competing with them. Right?
Yes.
So it's a zero-sum game. There's only a limited amount of people on the platform spending their limited amount of time there, right? So when you post something and you hope for it to go viral, you're competing with everyone.
Yeah.
So if you have more views, it means that other people have less views, right?
Yeah.
So it is a constant battle, right? And then you have people that constantly have this scarcity mindset, like I just mentioned, and they copy other people, right? They're complete copycats. If somebody does that with you, and if that's the norm in this industry, do you think it's okay to just copy people who copy you? Not necessarily if they have something worth copying. And is it really copying, or where do you draw the line between copying and inspiration, right?
So I copy all the time. I mean, all the videos that you see on my page are either Googled from Reddit, from ChatGPT, like those. I can't come up with these questions anymore. And a lot of people copy me. Everything already exists on the planet for free. All this knowledge is already there. We're just repackaging it and redelivering it, right? But there are some people that copy me copying people, right? They don't even put in the effort to copy properly. And I have absolutely no problem with that, because then people tag me over there and then I get free reach. And I also reshare their videos sometimes. And eventually you become so big within your brand. Like right now, if you write, "Isn't that concerning?" on Google, you'll see my face. So the more you copy, the more fame it brings to me. But essentially, we're all always copying something, right? Some people say it's inspiration, but no, if you saw a video and then you wanted to make something similar to that, you are copying the idea, but you're restructuring it, you're modifying it. For me, I was making fun of podcasts. I was copying the podcast structure from creators like Jumpers Jump Podcast. I took them and then I made fun of them. And I just made it into sarcasm. Dave Ramsey, I'm making fun of Dave Ramsey in one of my series where I pretend to be a financial expert. So I saw his videos. I'm doing the same setup again. I'm using even the same storyline, but I'm just making it sound stupid now.
So that's actually the good thing, that you put a twist of originality into it. I think there are no new ideas. All new ideas are just a Frankenstein of ideas from other people. But it just depends on how much there's still effort being put into it.
So attention to detail, how you package the video, like there needs to be a you factor in the video.
And there's a huge you factor in your content.
Yeah, man, you guys should, like, I don't know how long you've been following my content for, like, but you should see the stuff that I used to put up on Twitter. Like, there's some weird videos that I
But
used
you
to put
have to
up
try a lot of
6 years ago.
formats and everything to find your thing,
I have like
right?
16 formats right now that I am testing. I am all like, I mean, I haven't posted in a while in those formats, but the podcast being the most prominent, it was the only one that worked out of these 16. But
you have to try everything to know, right?
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to ask is that there is like a shift increasingly in social media, especially on YouTube, right? They call it the Mr. Beastification of content,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you have fast cuts, you have kind of persuasive storytelling in a way.
Yeah.
So do you think is creators starting out should go that route, or should they be authentic and not basically manipulate the audience psychologically?
There was the gold rush, then there was the crypto rush, then there was the TikTok rush. We're in the YouTube rush right now.
You're right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And if you want to think that YouTube is older than TikTok, no, TikTok gave light to YouTube in the last 4 years. TikTok opened doors for creators. And now whoever figures out YouTube is in the next rush right now. And I consider myself part of that rush as well, because everyone is focusing on short form. Like even bus drivers in America are making content on short form. Talabad riders are making content on short form.
Been decentralized.
YouTube, no one's even thinking about it because the barrier to entry is so complicated. Thumbnails, titles, long form videos, posting long form videos, shooting long form videos. What equipment do I use? The lighting, that people are not even considering it.
I think it's way more complicated and time consuming relatively to short form content, because if you compare retention and watch time total and the
It's, by the way,
long form
it's pretty much the same, but a little bit long. So what I'm doing now, and I'll like say it straight on camera, I'm filming a vlog every single day. For the last 134 days, I've been doing this without missing a single day. And I'm posting one video every single day without going viral whatsoever. But I'm training myself to make long videos, because I don't have the ability to make longer videos than 60 seconds, because I've only been doing short videos. And I believe that once I become like the muscle to create long videos become strong enough, then I'll be able to crack the algorithm. I believe so.
Right.
I might not ever do it, but if I do, then I believe this is the right way. And this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because again, ultimately, if you look at it from the monetary aspect, longer form, more time to advertise, and then ultimately more revenue.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, this has been amazing. I hope we can do this again.
For sure,
and,
man.
Like people will, it's so nice to see this other side. That is like one of the most intelligent people I've actually ever met.
No, man.
And no, for real though. And I really, really enjoyed this conversation. And so yeah, let's wrap this up. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Amazing. Great.
Why do I